Hello, everyone. I want to talk to you today about the impact of Shakespeare's words. I'm Amye Wombles. I'm an assistant professor in the English department at Pellissippi State. The first thing I want to show you is a couple of pictures from my experience with the first folio. You know about the importance of the first folio after listening to some other presentations at the Bard at Blunt. My personal experience with the first folio is I actually got to see it in person. When I was attending the National Council of Teachers of English convention in November of 2016, there was an offer or excursion that we could board a bus and ride over to Emory University, which is also in Atlanta. It's a little bit across town, and actually see the first folio on display. You will notice in the pictures that the first folio is in a small room, and there's all kinds of Shakespeare information on the walls. This was a great experience for me because I had never seen the first folio. And I also got to see the second, third, and fourth folio that day. Those are not in the pictures that you see here. What you're seeing is the first folio in a glass case and people looking closely at what is visible. The first folio was actually open to Hamlet. The page that you could see in the folio was the soliloquy from Hamlet, to be or not to be. That was a very exciting day, and you can see in the pictures there are many people who were excited to see that first folio. In fact, there was a line, and we had to wait in line because they'd only let a certain number of people into that small room to see the first folio at a time. So what a great experience for me as someone who loves words, loves Shakespeare's artistry. All right, so let's talk about the impact of Shakespeare's words. What we know for sure is that Shakespeare had an art for working with words. In fact, he's often referred to as a word master. Again, for somebody like me who appreciates the power that words have, it's always interesting to me to think about how Shakespeare, one person who had a relatively short life, was able to produce as many plays and poems as he did. And while he did, he was working with the words. He used more than 20,000 words in his plays and poems. His works provide the first recorded use of over 1,700 words in the English language. Wow. Now, I've underlined the word recorded on our slide here just to say that we are not sure how many words Shakespeare actually created, but what he did was record the words in writing. And that is how words get passed down. More on that in a minute. But he's the first one to record many of those words. So we wouldn't have the words if it wasn't for him. Shakespeare also utilized iambic pentameter. If you studied any of the Shakespearean plays while you were in high school English, I'm sure you heard iambic pentameter. This is the style of writing that Shakespeare wrote in most of the time. It's amazing to think that Shakespeare crafted his lines in his plays and poems to have a certain number of syllables. This is one reason he played around with the words. More on how he did that in just a minute. I want to introduce you to the Oxford English Dictionary. Now, we're taking a segue here, but I'm going to tie it into Shakespeare's impact in just a moment. The Oxford English Dictionary is the definitive record of the English language. That means they make a point to be sure to record all of the words that are widely used in our language. What they do is update 4 times a year their dictionary. They updated in March 2023, and the update included 1,400 revisions to existing entries and over 700 new words and phrases. For example, 3 of the new words that were added to the Oxford English Dictionary in March were crisscrossing, pre-pandemic, and sparky. I'm sure all of us know why the word pre-pandemic became a part of this March update. Hasn't it been widely used in the last year or so because of the pandemic beginning in 2020? Sparky, you might be interested to know, is someone who works with electricity. I've never heard that word used like commonly, but apparently it's being used somewhere, because what the Oxford English Dictionary editors do is they put certain words and phrases on a watch list. Someone may recommend the word to the watch list, or the editors may hear the word being used somewhere or see it as they're reading. So they place the word on a watch list, and the word is assigned to an editor. The editor begins a process of piecing together a profile of the word, and then they draft a dictionary definition for that word and add it to the dictionary. What does this have to do with Shakespeare? Well, we don't know how many words that Shakespeare actually invented. He was the first to record many of the words. So in a look at the Oxford English Dictionary, you would notice many entries that have changed over time in usage or definition. And this is what it has to do with Shakespeare, right? We have lots of words in our language that may not have been invented by Shakespeare, but they were recorded by him. Here are the 4 ways that Shakespeare mostly played with language. He used functional shifts. He combined words. He added prefixes and suffixes, and he invented words. Let's look at functional shifts first. A functional shift is when a word is used in a different way. For example, Shakespeare would take nouns and make them into verbs. That may sound really weird at first, but look at the modern day examples on the screen and let's talk about them. Google is a noun if you're talking about the search engine, but it becomes a verb when someone says, just Google it. And we all know what that means. A friend is a person you enjoy being around. That's when it's used as a noun. But we can also friend or unfriend someone on Facebook. In that sense, friend is a verb. A pencil, we know, is a tool for writing, but also I can pencil you in for a meeting next week, meaning I will set time apart in my calendar for our meeting. Shakespeare also had examples of nouns becoming verbs in a couple of his plays. For example, the word tardy, we know, is a noun meaning late. But Shakespeare turned it into a verb when he wrote this line: "The good mind of Camillo tardied my swift command." Using the word tardied here means it delayed it. The word scandal is also a noun that we know, meaning a situation that may have some immorality to it, or it creates a conflict. Shakespeare turned scandal into a verb in Julius Caesar, his play about Julius Caesar. If you know that I do fawn on men, and after scandal them. Grave is a noun. We know what it means, but Shakespeare turned it into a verb in this line from Richard II. Those whom you curse lie full low, graved in the hollow ground. Another functional shift that's common in Shakespeare's writing is verbs that become adjectives. Now, this is something that we are familiar with. We know how verbs become adjectives, don't we? Because we've learned how to do that when we were learning to read and to spell when we were young. Some modern day examples are the words accept and terrify and mash. The verb accept becomes the adjective acceptable when you add the able on the end. The verb terrify becomes the adjective terrifying when we add that ing on the end of it. The verb mash becomes the adjective mashed. Here's a Shakespearean example. The word impair means to mess something up or change the thought about something. This line from Shakespeare's play changes the word impair into an adjective describing a thought. He nor dignifies an impaired thought with breath. Those are functional shifts that Shakespeare commonly made in his poems and plays. Another strategy that Shakespeare used to play with words and language is combining words. We call this compounding, when you make a new word out of two existing ones. Some modern day examples are screenager instead of teenager, or playing on that word teenager, meaning referring to how much time teenagers spend on screens. It's not only teenagers that do that, is it? Jeggings is a word that was created from the words jeans and leggings. And blog is a combination of web and log. Blog, which you know is someone's personal writings, usually on their own website. King Lear, Shakespeare's famous play, will lead us to several examples of compounding. Sharp-toothed unkindness, hot-blooded France, thunderbearer, outjest, and heartstruck. A third way that Shakespeare plays with language is to add prefixes and suffixes. We already looked at how Shakespeare added suffixes to verbs to help them become adjectives. Here's some other examples of Shakespeare playing with the language and creating new words. Modern day examples that are not Shakespearean are commodize, declutter, or presidentiable. Commodize, you're taking comedy, E-I-Z-E on the end. Declutter, your base word is clutter, and you're adding the prefix de to indicate you're going to get rid of the clutter. Presidentiable, we're adding able to the end of president. Some Shakespearean examples are gloom becomes gloomy by adding that suffix y. Brook becomes a brook, adding that a onto the front of the word brook. And air becomes airless, adding the less suffix to the word air. What I've noticed in reading Shakespeare's plays is that Sometimes he adds prefixes and suffixes to words to make them fit iambic pentameter. For example, if one of his lines needed one more syllable to have an iambic pentameter line, then he would play with the word and add a suffix or a prefix to a word to add that other syllable in. Remember, iambic pentameter is used to make a line musical, where it sounds poetic. And that was Shakespeare's signature style of writing. So I gathered some words and definitions from A to Z that Shakespeare is widely thought to have invented or recorded for the first time, so that we know the words and can use them. I'm going to take away those slides and show you these words A to Z, because I think it'll help you to remember some of them, because you can connect to the alphabet, right? The first word is alligator. Alligator is a noun. Can't really see that, can you? Alligator is a noun, meaning a large reptile closely related to the crocodile. Shakespeare used the word alligator in Romeo and Juliet, Act 5, Scene 1. The word bedroom is our B word. Sorry, you can't see that very well. Bedroom, we know, is a noun, and it's a room for sleeping furnished with a bed. Shakespeare used this word in A Midsummer Night's Dream, Act 2, Scene 2. The word critic is also attributed to Shakespeare. Critic is a noun, and its definition is one who judges merit or expresses a reasoned opinion. This word appeared in Love's Labor Lost, Act 3, Scene 1. The word downstairs is an adverb, meaning on a lower floor, down the steps. This word is from Henry IV, Part 1, Act 2, Scene 1. The word eyeball is a noun, the round part of the eye, organ for vision. Henry V, Part 1. I'm sorry, Henry IV, Part 1, Act 4, Scene 7. The word fashionable is an adjective meaning stylish, and that word appeared in Troilus and Cressida, Act 3, Scene 3. Please excuse my pronunciations. G word is gossip. Gossip is a verb meaning to talk casually, usually about others. This word was seen in the Comedy of Errors, Act 5, Scene 1. Our H word is hurry. It's a verb meaning to act or move quickly. This word was found in the Comedy of Errors, Act 5, Scene 1. Inaudible is our I word. Inaudible is an adjective, and it means not heard, unable to be heard. This word is from the play All's Well That Ends Well, Act 5, Scene 3. The J word is jaded. Jaded is an adjective, and it means worn out, bored, or past feeling. This word is from Henry VI, Part 2, Act 4, Scene 1. Our K word is kissing. Kissing is an adjective meaning touching with the lips, exchanging kisses. This word is from Love's Labor's Lost, Act 5, Scene 2. Our L word is lonely. It is an adjective, and it's sad due to lack of companionship. This word appeared in Coriolanus, Act 4, Scene 1. Our M word is manager. Manager is a noun, and it's one who controls or administers, the person in charge. This word comes from Love's Labor's Lost, Act 1, Scene 2. Our N word is nervy. Nervy is an adjective meaning strong, bold, easily agitated. It's from Coriolanus, Act 2, Scene 1. Our O word is obscene. Obscene is an adjective meaning repulsive or disgusting, offensive to one's morality. It's found in Love's Labor's Lost, Act 1, Scene 1. You're going to love the phrase for P, and it is puppy dog. A puppy dog is a noun, a young domestic dog, and this phrase was found in King John, Act 2, Scene 1. Our Q word is questioning. Questioning is a noun, the act of inquiring or interrogating. This word was found in As You Like It, Act 5, Scene 4. A word I hear commonly is rant. Rant is a verb meaning to speak at length in inflated or extravagant language. This word's found in Hamlet, Act 5, Scene 1. This S phrase might surprise you. It did me. Skim milk. Skim milk is a noun, and it's milk with the cream removed. It has less calories, right? This word comes from Henry IV, Part 1, Act 2, Scene 3. The T word is traditional. Traditional is an adjective meaning conventional, bound by tradition. This word is found in Richard III, Act 3, Scene 1. The U word is actually beginning with a prefix. Undress is a verb meaning to remove clothes or other covering. This word is found in The Taming of the Shrew in the induction, Scene 2. Our V word is varied. Varied is an adverb meaning to incorporate different types or kinds, diverse. The play is Titus Andronicus, Act 3, Scene 1. The word for W has a suffix on the end, worthless. Worthless is an adverb meaning having no value or merit. This one is found in The Two Gentlemen of Verona, Act 4, Scene 2. Our X word, can you believe we have one? Xantippe. It's a noun, it's someone's name. The shrewish, wife of Socrates, a bad-tempered woman. This word is from The Taming of the Shrew, Act 1, Scene 2. Our Y word is yelping. Yelping is usually associated with dogs, I think, but it is an adjective meaning uttering sharp, high-pitched cries. This word is found in Henry VI, Part 1, Act 4, Scene 2. And our Z word I also love is zany. Zany is a noun meaning a clown's assistant, a performer who mimics another's antics. And this word is from Love's Labor's Lost, Act 5, Scene 2. Thank you for allowing me to share all of those words with you today. I also wanted to share a poem with you, and you may have heard it before at Bard at Blunt, but Bernard Levin, who is a British journalist, wrote this poem about Shakespeare's influence on the English language and printed this in The Story of English. This poem is called Quoting Shakespeare. If you don't understand argument and declare it's Greek to me, you are quoting Shakespeare. If you claim to be more sinned against than sinning, you are quoting Shakespeare. If you recall your salad days, you are quoting Shakespeare. If you act more in sorrow than in anger, if your wish is farther to the thought, if your lost property has vanished into thin air, you are quoting Shakespeare. If you have ever refused to budge an inch or suffered from green-eyed jealousy, if you have played fast and loose, if you have been tongue-tied, a tower of strength, hoodwinked, or in a pickle, if you have knitted your brows, made a virtue of necessity, insisted on fair play, slept not one wink, stood on ceremony, danced attendance, laughed yourself into stitches, had short shrift, told comfort, or too much of a good thing, if you have seen better days or lived in a fool's paradise, why, be that as it may, the more fool you, for it is a foregone conclusion that you are quoting Shakespeare. If you think it is early days and clear out bag and baggage, if you think it is high time and that is the long and short of it, if you believe that the game is up and the truth will out even if it involves your own flesh and blood, if you lie low till the crack of doom because you suspect foul play, if you have your teeth set on edge at one fell swoop, without rhyme or reason, then, to give the devil his due, if the truth were known, you are quoting Shakespeare. Even if you bid me riddance, good riddance, and send me packing, if you wish I was dead as a doornail, if you think I'm an eyesore, a laughingstock, the devil incarnate, a stony-hearted villain, bloody-minded, or a blinking idiot, then by Jove, oh Lord, tut tut, for goodness sake, what the dickens? But me no buts. It is all one to me, for you are quoting Shakespeare. Thank you for listening.